Hey, what's up, guys? Twintuitive 717 here. I am back with another reading. I hope you guys are doing incredibly well as always. We're going to dive into the Divine Masculine Collective and see what messages they want to communicate, what messages they want to send to you, Divine Feminines. Every time I use this deck, guys, I feel like these are going to be things that you've already been picking up on anyway. This is just going to be a confirmation for you, okay? All right, so for those of you, Divine Feminines, who have kids, okay, maybe you are still living with your ex. You could be co-parenting. You could have a close relationship with your ex because of your kids. Like, whoever you are, Divine Feminine, you don't care. Your kids are your priority, okay? And I feel like a lot of your Divine Masculines, you know that this is a trigger for them, the relationship that you have with your ex. And I feel like through this card, they're trying to let you know, like, it still bothers them. So many of you might have, like, this connection with your masculine, and you also have this life you've created, and I feel like he's trying to tell you, like, he understands that, but it still gets to him, it still bothers him. So I feel like this is a masculine who's going through a lot of regrets. Like, maybe they wish they were the ones who had a family with you, or also too, guys, I'm feeling like whoever your masculine is, you could be the one with kids, Divine Feminine, and it's like they don't have kids, so they don't understand, or they're having a hard time grasping the fact that you do have to have a good rapport with your ex, because you're putting your kids at the front and center of this. And I feel like this is also a journey for you, Divine Feminine. This is something that you are maybe learning on your twin flame journey, because I feel like for you, what you're experiencing is like, normally when two people go through some kind of ending or a separation and there's children involved, I think society's norm is that you're not supposed to get along, you're not supposed to spend time in the same spaces, you're not supposed to support one another. What it typically looks like is you're at each other's throats, it's messy, the kids are suffering. But I feel like whoever you are, Divine Feminine, you knew that part of this experience here with your ex and co-parenting, it could have a lot of themes to do with that. I think that you realized through your experience that, like, I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to be at my ex's, throat. I'm not going to give society what it expects. I'm not going to create distance. I'm going to do what I think is best for myself and my child. So a lot of you are doing this, and I feel like you could be the talk of the town, or everybody is just really confused because... And also, too, Divine Feminines, like, if many of you did go through some kind of breakup or divorce because of your twin flame journey and experience, there were a lot of people waiting for drama to unfold. And I feel like whoever you are, Divine Feminine, you're like, you guys are going to be waiting a long time to see some drama unfold over here, because I create my life. So you have a Divine Masculine here who's kind of twiddling their thumbs, and I think they're starting to see the bigger picture here, because you're not caving, Divine Feminines. You are literally pulling your Divine Masculine out of the old way of thinking, or society's way of thinking. Like, he could have friends that maybe poke fun at the fact that you're still living with your ex, or you're friends with your ex. Like, your masculine could have people around them who fill their head with a lot of insecurity around the fact that, oh, well, they must still be together, or they must still be, be really good friends, you know what I mean? And a lot of you in the feminine energy are like, I don't give a fuck about what people are saying. So this is something that they're trying to wrap their head around. They're watching you, or have watched you for a really long time, carry yourself with a lot of integrity and grace on the journey. And I feel like whoever you are, like, because you guys might live in a small town, that's something else I want to say, because I'm hearing the word small town, where it's like everybody talks, everybody knows everybody. And again, whoever you are, Divine Feminine, now when you walk into spaces, it's like no longer people kind of turning away or, whispering. It's like now people are either like inspired by you, or like a lot of you are showing up and you're changing things in either your town or the way that people view you. I feel like whoever you are, even though you may be divorced, you and your ex show up on the scene more than like married couples do. You know what I mean? Have you guys ever heard the term like single married women? Like a single married mom type of thing, where it's like even though they may be married, a lot of the child rearing responsibilities is on them. So it's like they operate as though they may be single, even though they have a husband there. The husband may not be so experienced when it comes to child rearing, so the husband might be in this kind of frame of mind where, well, all my job is to go to work and come home. So you've got a lot of these moms, just doing the brunt of it, the drives to school, the drives home, taking the kids to all of the extracurriculars, whereas you, Divine Feminine, I mean, you're both on the scene for everything, because you've both gotten the opportunity to show up as the best version of yourselves. And I feel like it didn't seem that way so long ago. And I also see that for many of you, if you do live in a small town and you're divine masculine and this whole connection between you two, I mean, people were really hoping that this was going to be some drama and that you were going to be suffering. And I feel like at one point many of you might have had people in your community gossiping like, oh my god, that's going to be so sad and so awful. And it's like, now when people run into you, I don't know if it be at like the local Target, the Walmart, people are just, they don't want to make conversation with you because they don't want to hear about how your life is going and how it is you have all of the time in the world to look so good and smell so good. And people, I think that people too are around you, they're experiencing a lot of the stress as well that comes along with marriage and children and schedules and routines. And I feel like the people that may be experiencing those struggles the most right now is those people that would have been pointing at you, Divine Feminine, and night after night after night, you were the main topic at their dinner table. Okay, a lot of you don't realize that you had a lot of people rooting for your downfall. And I don't think a lot of people were doing it consciously. It was just, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? It's like people really couldn't help it. And I do feel like for some of you, when you guys go through bad stuff, there's people close to you who can't help but feel a little tiny bit of joy in watching you go through some kind of struggle. But the thing is, like, whoever you are, Divine Feminine, many of you did not have to struggle. A lot of people wanted to see you in fear, right? At times you felt very limited, but a lot of you are deeply protected on this journey, and this is something that many of your masculines are seeing as well. And this is why the triggers are coming up to see you with your ex or to see you doing this whole co-parenting thing. But I feel like as the years go by, they can't help but watch your life go through some kind of glow up. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you're doing this whole co-parenting thing and you were forced into it because of your twin flame experience or your twin flame journey, the universe made sure that it did it right with you if you had the courage to go through some kind of ending or separation to preserve your family unit. So I think that what many of you are seeing is like you had the bravery to separate or divorce for the sake of like I love you, and because I love you, I think that we're better apart. And many people around you really wanted you to go through the worst because of this, because I think that they were projecting onto you that if they were to ever experience something like that, they would crumble. Particularly a lot of women around you, Divine Feminine, because they were projecting the fact that they could never go through some kind of separation or divorce because how would they survive, right? But with you, Divine Feminine, many of you, you've got it 10 toes down, baby. Right? You know how to survive. You know how to make it on your own. You know how to do the job of the masculine and the feminine. So, yeah, many of you are now serving as reminders of people around you, remembering and awakening to their own strength. Okay? A lot of you are being admired in your community, especially with, like, women. I don't know what it is, but, like, women around you are seeing you either on your own or you've got the right support, or like they're watching you do things better than ever, and they're like awakening and remembering like, wait a second, like I want to do that too, or I want to be that way too. Like they're seeing you in a lot of celebratory energy, whereas a lot of people were waiting for you to fail, be lonely, like struggle, be living this miserable single life, fighting with your ex, going through bitter custody battles, things like that. But many people are scratching their head going, how are they still showing up to the Christmas party together? How are they still showing up to extracurricular activities together? And my husband's sitting at home because he's tired from work. Yet here are these two, they're supposed to be divorced, and they're sitting upright front and center watching their kid. So a lot of people, you have them questioning how it is you're able to do what it is you're able to do. You're not fitting what society expected was going to happen to you. Okay, and that's how you know many of you are changing shit up. And I feel like a lot of your divine masculines, they're having to get with the program here. They too might have been one of the ones looking at you going, this isn't going to be good. And I feel like for many of you divine feminines, like a lot of you are proving people around you wrong. So much to the point where it's inspiring breakthroughs in a lot of people. Right now you must have a lot of people going through a lot of harmony and disharmony and conflict, because your life and the way that you're living it, it's shining a mirror back into the homes of people who were once laughing at you, wishing misery upon you. Now they're looking at their household and maybe their spouse is like, you're not doing enough. I was just outside and divine feminine is there with her ex and getting along all happy, and we're married and you can't even show up. I have to drop the kids off. I got to pick them up from school. I got to do all of these things, and all you do is go to work and come home. Something's missing here. So this is the kind of stuff that is going on behind closed doors, and many of you can feel it intuitively as well. Celebrate divine feminine. That's why the celebration gifts and abundance card is coming out here, because many of you had to trudge through the trenches. When people were laughing at you, there were a lot of people wishing, bad karma on you. Hoping that you wouldn't get your justice, that you wouldn't find equilibrium or balance again. And again, I don't know why this is coming out, but it's weird to say this, but some people were finding a little bit of joy in watching this occur. It was like, because your twin flame came into your life, a lot of people may have found out, like I'm hearing affair for some of you, so I don't know if you would have connected with your divine masculine and then all of this triggers and the separation, all that stuff started coming up. I feel like there were a lot of people around you, like, waiting for this big downfall. They didn't want you to have equilibrium, because it was like, oh, well, you had an affair, you should suffer. But what a lot of people didn't know was you didn't have a choice, divine feminine. What was being felt in your heart and in your divine masculine's heart, it was nostalgia. It was the memory of one another, right? People were judging a relationship that it has existed, and not only in this lifetime, but in many, many, many lifetimes before. Okay, and that is the justice that many of you are getting, because guess what? Guess who's wrapping their head around the idea of certain things like blended families and learning to mature so that way they can get along, and learning not to take the opinions of others, learning autonomy. We've been talking about that a lot of your masculines, this whole dynamic between you two, again, especially if there's themes around children and divorce and separation and co-parenting. A lot of them weirded out by it, didn't know if this was the path for them. But time and time again, divine feminines, you come out as the only one with integrity. Out of all the people they surround themselves with, you're the only one that keeps coming up with living their life with honesty and integrity. All right, guys, so that's what I have for you for this quick check-in for the Divine Feminine Collective. If this resonates and you guys would like to dig deeper, to chat a little bit more, reach me over at hipsy.com. We can talk, we can text, whatever you guys prefer. And a big shout out and thank you to those of you who have been reaching out and also joining the memberships. There's tons of videos on there for you guys to explore, and in the membership videos, I do talk a little bit about my own journey as well. So join me, guys. I'd love to have you. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next reading, okay? Take care, guys. Bye.